Well, good morning, everybody. Let me see if I can get this turned better. Yeah, that's better. Anyway, good morning again. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the 7th day of January, the day after Insurrection Day. 2021. Oh my God. Can you believe what went on yesterday? Well, I can because I've always known this is who this guy is. So, of course, he's going to start a riot. Let's see. They're talking about removing him. I saw a big list. Let's see what the pendulum says. Is that a likely occurrence? We'll say that. Yep. I'm getting a yes on that. It's not very strong. Let me lean back here, anchor myself a little better. Well, it's getting stronger. Is he going to be removed? Let's ask it that way. Oh, look at that. Yeah, this way is yes, this way is no. So it's indicating that he may not last the next 13 days. They may remove him. I know that there's a big list of lawmakers that want to see that happen. So we'll see, though. You know, he may survive. He may not. He may get removed. He may wait the whole time and leave. He's indicated there'll be an orderly transition now, but we'll see. Shameful, though. It's sad because, you know, everything that we know about him, we knew before the election. You know, the money laundering, all of that stuff. You know, the sexual stuff that he does, the predation. We knew about it all. So I don't know how he got in there. I really don't. Anyway, we got Urus for the rune today. This is manifestation. It's the second rune of the Elder Futhark, but it's the thought behind the actual manifesting of something. So, you know, again, you know, we're talking about perception there and where you place your focus. I have not done the shifting perception video. I think I may do it today. We'll see. I might wait because there's so much happening right now. I may want to watch TV for a while, but in the next, either today or in the next few days, by the weekend anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do that shifting perception video. And it's really just excerpting the latest book I put out about shifting your perception away from ego and into spirit. I just am of the belief that we are who we are, that we are spirit encased in a form to learn and discover and play out different themes that we decide on ahead of time. I think that the body is an illusion. I think the ego is an illusion. Unfortunately, it becomes all too real here. But it isn't a question of living a godly life and then, you know, getting your reward at the end. No, you are who you are, so be it now. Right? Be that spirit presence now. And let go of the ego. Well, that's what the book's all about anyway, with some visualizations and just some understanding, my understanding of what that is and how I see it, and then visualizations, affirmations, and meditations. So anyway, that's the book, and there's a link to it below this video if you want to look at it ahead of time. But but basically, I think that we need to do that somehow, some way, is shift our perception away from ego-based stuff and to something that sees the greater picture of what's truly involved without judgment. Looking at it objectively, we get into the ego and it becomes judgmental. So when you look at the rune Uruz, which is what this is all about, when you look at the rune Uruz, that's the essence you're talking about. It's the which leg of it are you using? Are you using the ego to then manifest with, or are you using spirit? And theoretically, in terms of Uruz, it's spirit that we're using. So let's take a look at the geomancy rune, see what it is for today. Let's see. Oh, well, we have Tristitia. I believe. Let me look just to be sure. Yep, we have Tristitia. Now, Tristitia is loss and sorrow and sadness and grief and all of that. Let's see. I can just not answer that from here, I guess. It comes across my iPad. My phone's in the other room. I had a feeling that that was going to happen today. I should have just given it to my husband. This is Tristitia. And you see the geomancy glyph is arranged, the dots are arranged in fire, air, water, and earth. And so you're seeing an active presence for earth. A single dot is active. 2 dots mean passive presence. So you're looking at passive will, passive intellect, passive emotion, and a focus on the more restrictive earth-like kinds of things. Things are not going the way we want them to when we see Tristitia. So it can be a motivating force, though, to make them go better. And so basically that's what we're looking at here. What are we manifesting? Are we going to be manifesting in a way that overcomes the grief, overcomes the sorrow, overcomes the misuse of force, the misuse of ego, or what are we doing here? So let's take a look then at the cards, and we'll see what they have to say, if we can see what their guidance is along that line. So, cards. Usually I sit and shuffle as I talk, but I wanted to get the runes out of the way, particularly with, now that we see it's a manifestation rune. I think that, collectively what we're seeing, we're so, our eyes are on what's happening in DC and the shameful, mob nonsense that happened yesterday that knothead incited. I saw a video just before I came on here of all of them watching from some little hut, little makeshift hut with a bunch of TV screens in it, a bunch of monitors, all the different angles of what's going on. And, you got the girlfriend dancing and doing all she's doing and laughing. It's a party, right? Watching our capital be destroyed, basically, or attempted to be destroyed. To see them in offices, to see them at the podium in the chambers. They're going to get those guys because they're dumb enough to not have to show their faces and to post it all on social media. I guess somehow they thought that, he would protect them. No, because he can't even protect himself from what's about to happen to him. So, this is getting caught up, in a cult type propaganda based experience. You give away your will, you give away everything to somebody who's conning you. Yeah. So whatever grief and sorrow you may feel today, if you're caught up in that, you need to get your head straight. You need to get it straight right now. And you need to manifest something else. You don't want to be aligned with any of this. You really don't. And if you don't believe me, well, time will show you that I'm right. But with Urus, we're talking about spirit manifestation to deal with whatever, spirit awareness, to deal with whatever grievance we might have. Open that up to something different, to see the bigger picture of things, to find a different way forward, if you will. But let's go ahead. I just got back from the UPS store dropping off a package for my grandchildren. Grandma and Grandpa are sending a little present to each one today. They're so cute, whatever they want, whatever, whether they ask for it or not, it's just we're there. So to watch those 2 little new humans grow, and we can't be there, right? Because of the pandemic, we can't see them. We can't risk bringing anything, because we live in one part of the state, they live in another part of the state, and I'm not going to bring whatever is here there, and vice versa. We love each other enough that we're not going to try to unknowingly harm one another by getting together right now. So we're going to stay apart and just see each other, on video or through pictures and stuff that get texted to us, That's all we're going to be able to do. At least for a while longer. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cards and see if they can give us a little more information on Uruz and Tristitia. Well, we have the Tower. That's fascinating, isn't it? 16th card of the Major Arcana, 7 energy, bringing things back to balance. The lightning strikes the top of the tower. Everybody falls out. The building's on fire. A reset is about to happen. Maybe it took happening yesterday, what happened yesterday happening, to make us have a reset and to understand what we need to be manifesting instead of following along with a con man. I love the Tower card. To me, it just means, you know, everybody's perceptions are being reset. Well, I think they are. Scary thing, though, wasn't it? It just seemed to happen a little too easily, didn't it? Yeah. Wheel of Fortune. 10th card of the Major Arcana. Well, you know, the wheel turns, doesn't it? A 1 energy, you're looking at new beginnings. You see expressions of the 4 elements in all 4 corners there. The hermetic type, not the glyph type, you know, but the hermetic type. You see sulfur, salt, and mercury represented right on the wheel itself, again in hermetic form. You can think of this as the wheel of the year, but we're talking about fortune. We're talking about changing fortunes. I think that, you know, people that align themselves with mobs, then, you know, you're going to see your fortunes changing, because if you did that, then, you know, they're coming after you. They're going on social media. They've already indicated today they're going to prosecute everyone they can. I think that this became a cult of personality following the cult of personality, really. And now we have a situation where people are so caught up in something that's criminal, because that's what it was. It was criminal act, it was sedition. Lawmakers that were part of it, you're starting to see them, you know, ask for some of you. I saw a list of senators and a whole bunch of Congress people, House representatives, asking for his removal immediately, irrespective of the 13 days he has left. He's indicated it will be a peaceful transition of power. No, it won't. People are resigning. It's questionable whether or not Chad Wolf just got fired when they rescinded his becoming, what is it, Department of Homeland Security head or something, secretary of that. He's acting right now. Is that what he is? Well, they just rescinded it. The White House sent it over to the Senate, and they withdrew his name. Now, does that mean he has to leave? I think wasn't it his position and someone else's that a judge ruled that he's not legally in the position, even as acting, that they can't do what they did. Yeah. Well, we're gonna have to sleep on it, aren't we? We're gonna have to let our mind come to a rest, our thoughts settle, let perceptions settle with the 4 of Swords, so that we can understand the gravity of what's happened here as the wheel turns and as the tower is blown apart. You know, that's the thing. You know, your perceptions can either be fixed or you can understand that they're really not. You know, we've been told, you know, in politics that oh, if you change your mind, you're a flip-flopper. No, it means that you've now gotten some different information. Maybe you're a flip-flopper. But most of the time, when people change their mind about something, it's because now they suddenly realize that they were wrong about something. Don't you want that? Right? So, maybe you got to think about it for a while, though. But you do this with perceptions. You're doing this to find a better path that you're on. Okay, if you constantly think, in other words, if you think your neighbors are your enemies, and you don't engage with them, all right, and then one day maybe you're out walking and suddenly somebody that you thought was an enemy, somebody you didn't want to talk to, starts talking to you, and you realize, hey, this seems like a really nice person. Ooh, perceptions start to change, don't they? Is that a bad thing? No. Suddenly then you're encouraged, and maybe you start talking to other people and you realize, no, your neighbors are not your enemies. There's people like you, right? So perceptions can change. And right now I think that what the reading is saying is, are we going to manifest from grievance, as we saw yesterday, or are we going to manifest from spirit? Blow the lid off your perceptions. Blow the lid off of what you think. Let it come to rest. Because the wheel's going to turn, no matter what. Do we dare do one more card? We're early here on time. We're only at about 15 minutes. Almost 16 minutes. Let's do one more card. And let's ask, what's going to happen? What's going to be the outcome of this? Is that clear or is it not clear? Because that could be a possibility. Or it could just be a potential outcome. What's one of the strong potential outcomes that could happen here? Because I don't know about you, I'm sick of all of it. 20th card, balance, a 2 energy, judgment. Let's talk about this one. How will we be judged? So we see the angel above there, Angel Gabriel blowing his horn. You see a pennant or a little flag there that has a cross on it, and we'll talk about that. Ooh, I even drew something out that I stuck to my monitor there, so I didn't have to do it each time. But everyone's standing up out of their coffins naked because they're dead and they're rising up out of their coffins. So in pure form now, ready to meet their maker, ready for their judgment. How'd I do? Well, we are all going to have to ask ourselves that, aren't we? How'd we do? Let's talk about that flag, though. It's not you can think of it as a medical thing. You can think of it as healing. You can think of it as but it's not a cross. It's not religious. I think it's a diagram of who we are. Over here, you've got the feminine or the receptive side. Over here, you've got the masculine or projective side on the horizontal plane of existence. The vertical plane is the spirit invoking into form, incarnating into form, but invoking its presence into the form itself. So it's the soul. It's the travel of the soul into form. Okay? Now, realistically, we need to be up here, balanced, slightly below the line, probably. Be very cool if we could be like above the line and have that be only spirit that's informing everything about our lives here. But instead, we come down here to ego, and that's usually about where we sit, because we forget who we are, right? We forget when we incarnate into form. Most of us, anyway, forget that we are in fact spirit. I'm of the belief empaths don't. I'm of the belief that it may take an empath a while to understand that about himself or herself, but once you do, then you understand that what you're experiencing is soul energy that's intermixing with ego, and that's you're basically connecting with the astral energies that people put off in their auras, in their intention as well. And so we basically forget, and we get caught up in the reactionary aspect of self, which is the ego. And we make true and real everything that's going on around us, instead of understanding that it's a projection of consciousness to help us learn. So it's as much an illusion as the body, as everything else we see. All right? If you remember that you're spirit, then this becomes your playground, and you can do nothing but create. But the minute you get caught up in a moment, that's where the reaction comes in. And that becomes the ego. that's rising up and taking over, instead of spirit saying, wait, 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 wait. Now there's something else to be learned here. All right. Instead of reacting to the conflict, stand back, look at it, and say, what can I learn from it? What's really going on here? Let me understand the dynamic instead of reacting and getting into the middle of it all, right? That's one example of that. But bottom line, we should be more here. And when you see the angel come out with this flag, it's time to realign. It's time to realign perception and to transmute ego into spirit. And how do we do that? We don't do it by getting down and having a conversation with ego. We do it by turning our attention away from it and then seeing through the eyes of source vision, where we then see, again, from the observation standpoint, this is the 7 energy. This is an observation thing. It's less of an experience thing and an observation thing, where we're observing what's happening here and trying to find the bigger message, which is that perception has brought us to a place that is not good, and now we need to have spirit come in and blow the lid off of things a little bit. You can think of it as God, the return of Goddess presence. You can think of it any way you want to, the Sophia energy, whatever you want. But the bottom line is perceptions have to change. We have to get out of the grievance-based tristitia of it all. I didn't hold that very well, did I? Tristitia of it all. And come back into alignment. Because that's what this card really is. Judgment is such a nasty word, isn't it? Because realistically, we need to move away from judgment, don't we? Otherwise, I don't know how you get beyond things. I don't know how you transmute ego into spirit. If you give ego any attention at all, you build it. You raise your vibration by viewing yourself as spirit, by knowing that within. Taking a less judgmental approach to things. And come from a place of understanding and compassion and awareness. True awareness. That's the shift that, the shifting perception that we need to have. So, I didn't mean this to sort of dovetail into the video I'm going to do about the last book I wrote, but I guess it did. But I think yesterday was just a very profound day. I think that what is going to happen here, if the pendulum is right and he's removed ahead of time, it is what it is. We come full circle, don't we? All that will be coming out about him in the coming days, in the coming weeks and months, that we'll be finding out about him, trust me on this when I say the majority of it was all known. The underlying who this guy is was all known before the election in 2016. So somehow or another, people either didn't pay attention to it or they didn't hear about it. But the bottom line is, I'm getting all kinds of phone calls. I need to turn that off again. But the bottom line is, we're going to be finding it out, and it's going to change how we see things. And it's going to have to. Maya Angelou said this one thing to Oprah, when people tell you who they are, believe them the first time. But we don't, because if they fulfill a need within us, then suddenly they're okay when they're not. We have to develop discernment going forward. So if this teaches us anything at all, it's that the information was there, and a percentage of the people did not believe it. And now they're going to have to. So, massive lesson collectively. A lesson in forgiveness, a lesson in which really we're going to talk about that on the video, which is really a judgmental thing to do because you see it as a problem anyway. But that's where we live here, isn't it? We're going to have to learn to see things differently than the way we have, and to move out of the grievance-based stuff and into something that can really foster change, to where we come together in shared purpose. We go together in a shared direction. We'll argue about what the contents of that looks like, and that's just fine. But if what yesterday showed us anything at all, we have to do that now. With respect to the pandemic, you've got to wear a mask when you're around people, whether you're inside or out. You've got to have a mask on. To think that anybody thought that they could do anything differently, again, they need a shift in perception, don't they? To something higher and more fundamental. So, anyway, it's going to be an interesting thing going forward to watch, isn't it? And but my hope is that it fosters people, it fosters a moment where people will just stop and consider that maybe how they're seeing things is counterproductive, that it's harmful. To think that you can go out and try to hurt people who are simply standing up for their rights, really? When, it surrounds racism and other isms as well. We can't live that way. It isn't who we are, not in spirit. And it shouldn't be who we are here. And I think maybe these big moments get us to pause and rethink things. So I hope that's what happens here. Let us manifest something different, from a different level of perception, one that's higher self-based instead of the lowly ego. So anyhow, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. If you haven't clicked subscribe, I'd love you to do that. And come back on Monday for another edition of this, of Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune. Now, the Esoteric Influences the video and the posts will go up on Sunday. If you want to sign up for that, you want to sign up for the newsletter, you can do that. It's on the left side panel of the blog, and you'll get that in your inbox before the video comes out. Plus you get the bind rune for the week and all of that, and other little things I might find to put in that are witchy, metaphysical, and all that good stuff. So, but if you want to sign up for that, that'll actually hit your inbox before I do the video and before the post goes up. So you'll get that first. Doesn't cost anything. It's just there. So anyway, check out the blog over at imsteppingaside.com. It's called Stepping Aside. And the videos all go up on the side panel again. So you want to always check the side panel for new stuff. But the body of it shows it. And I've changed a few things so that the sticky posts are no longer there. They're over on the side panel. And if you want to refer to like the magical correspondences for each day, there's a post there so you can just go reference that if you want to. Watch for the magical forecast to come out Monday through Friday on the blog. That's an astrological thing for magic, people who work magic. And I guess that's it. There's some numerology in it. There's a little rune divination to it. I added that. That's a new thing in it. You can follow me over on Patreon if you want to do that. You have to sign up there. It's just $1 a month to do that. And I'm also over on Medium if you want to check me out over there. So anyway, thanks a bunch. And, stay safe. Wear a mask if you go out around anyone at all. Pay attention to what's going on in our nation's capital to see what's going to happen there. This is a real civics lessons, folks. I don't know. I pulled my kids out of public school, and my oldest he had finished 7th and my youngest 4th. And so we homeschooled the rest of the way. And so I don't know what's in high school these days, but everyone says that we need to have a return to civics being taught in high school. Maybe we need to do it in 8th grade. I don't know, 7th, 8th grade maybe. Maybe throughout school, get people to understand what their civic duty is in this country. Get to understand what government's all about and how it can either help us or hinder us, But at the same time, we can't have what happened yesterday happen again. So take care of yourselves, and we'll talk again soon. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.